Right now I'm in Land O'Lakes, Florida, and I want to share some of the pros and cons of living in this area. Here we go. I'm Sam, and thanks for coming by the Living in Tampa channel, where we make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to the whole Tampa area. We also run a team of realtors here and would love to help you find a place, help you buy a place, sell a house, any of those kind of things. So call, text, or email us anytime. We'd love to just hop on a call and help you process the move or help you process the sale. I moved to the Tampa area in 2020, and one of the first houses I sold was in this neighborhood right here, which is, you see it here on the map, Paget Estates, Paget Lakes, Bell Lake, I don't know what to call it. Right here in Land O'Lakes, a really interesting older neighborhood, mostly houses from the late 50s to mid 80s, and a lot of lakes. So the house I sold wasn't on a lake, but it has access to boat ramps on 3 different lakes and access to like horse stables where if you have like a horse that you wanted to pay a little extra to have right here in your neighborhood and have access to like land you can ride on. All that right here in this older neighborhood, a really interesting place. But let's get into some of the pros and cons of the whole Land O'Lakes area. Starting with the pros. Number 1 is the lakes. So I had some clients that were moving here from Minnesota not too long ago, and they jokingly said, we can't live in Land O'Lakes because everybody that lives back home in Minnesota will laugh at us because they thought they were the Land O'Lakes. There is a lot of lakes. So pro number 1 is the lakes. And there's, smaller neighborhood lakes like this. I mean, I guess that's not that small, but there's bigger lakes where you can wakeboard and things like that. This is like a no combustible engine lake. So if you want to get out there in a canoe or, have a trolling motor, those kind of things, there's all kinds of options like that. But there's lakes of all different sizes around this area. So you have the potential to live on the water pretty easily, not the Gulf, but water in Florida, and have that access to it that's just kind of dreamy to a lot of you. Number 2 pro is access. And what I mean by this is actually some of the highways that come in and out of this area. Highway 54 going east and west along the south side of Land O'Lakes mostly makes up the southern border of the area. And then 589 Veterans Expressway over on the west side of Land O'Lakes that goes right down into Tampa, toll road that's really fast. Once you get to that toll road, it really only takes about 20-25 minutes to get to the Tampa airport. People don't realize how fast that is and how affordable that toll road is. Now, if you're born and raised here, maybe you don't think that a couple dollars you have to pay to get down there is affordable, but a lot of you coming from California or coming from New York City, where you're used to paying $30 to get across a bridge, you're really loving that kind of affordable toll road. Or even clients that are moving from Texas right now, where they feel like they have to get on a toll road every single day to kind of get around every area of the Dallas area. Me saying that there's only a couple toll roads and this is what they cost, they were kind of relieved by that. Number 4 pro of the Land O'Lakes area is home options. So we talked about these 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s houses on the water. There's also big houses. There's big master plan developments. There's the Connerton development up Highway 41. There's a new development coming in called Angeline that will have like the Crystal Lagoon, big master plan community. There's Bexley, and there's the Preserve, Ballantree, all these others that are just off of Highway 54, just neighborhood developments. Although there are a lot of those suburban style neighborhood developments, there's a lot of these kind of older charming houses too if you're looking for something a little more unique. Number 4 pro for the Land O'Lakes area is the public schools. Not just public, private schools as well. Academy at the Lakes is one of the top private schools in the state right here in Land O'Lakes. And then the Sun Lake school system is really highly rated for this area. Many of you, when you reach out, you're asking about public schools, and this is one of the areas that comes up over and over again as a decent option. Now, if you're coming from areas with really high state income tax like New Jersey, California, the schools here are not going to be the same as you have there. They're just different. It's not as funded as those places, and you're going to see and feel some of that. Okay, let's get into the cons. Con number 1 is that you have a very rural vibe. But let's talk about how rural it actually is. Some of these neighborhoods feel a little bit more old Florida, and then some of the driving through Highway 41 has a bit of a rural vibe with a lot of kind of really interesting shops or little bars on the lakes or things like that. But you still do have this kind of suburban area along Highway 54 and kind of all of these neighborhoods that make up the area. So there are some rural aspects, but it's not like the whole area just feels like that. Okay, con number 2 is Land O'Lakes is kind of far from the beaches. So the closest beach you have access to is Howard Park in Tarpon Springs, and that is about 40-45 minutes away. Now maybe you're really far from the beaches now, so that feels close enough, but that would be the closest beach. If you want to get down to like Honeymoon Island, it's gonna be an additional 20-30 minutes after that, depending on traffic. And you're gonna get stuck over on US 19 and that kind of traffic. Be careful over there. So if being close to the beaches is a priority to you, and 30 to 50 minutes feels too long, this is probably not the right area. Con number 3 is that the area is kind of chain dominant. So what do I mean by that? There are some local places, restaurants and things like that, but most of the commercial development, the shopping, all those kind of things is along Highway 54. And most of that is newer development, the restaurants that are in front of a grocery store that are Chipotle and Five Guys and pizza and those kind of things. It's pretty chain dominant in those kind of ways. I think some of those local flares will come in eventually, but that will take some time. The final con for this Land O'Lakes area is that it is up and coming. And you might ask why that's a con, but some of you want to be in an area that feels like it's done. And I relate with that. I live in an older neighborhood and there's not much changing or developing, and some of that's kind of comforting. So some of those things you're going to have to wait to catch up. And like this new community, Angeline, is a part of that. So this new community is going to be giant and have a nice high school in it and have all these trails and one of those big crystal lagoons like the Epperson community. But those things just take years and years, and then you have another 5 years that they're still building houses, phase 2 and 3 in the neighborhood, and some of you might not like that feel. Personally, I really like Land O'Lakes. We kind of chose to not live in this area because we wanted to be a little bit closer to family in Tarpon Springs. But whenever we were from a distance shopping for houses, I was really drawn to this area. Some of these older houses on the lakes that are kind of mid-century modern, kind of unique, were really charming to me. And if you're looking for something that is that kind of unique older Florida, this could be a great spot. But also if you're looking for more of a master planned community vibe, this could work too. One thing about Florida that I've noticed is pretty much every single day, there's people cutting grass or blowing leaves around me. Every time I try to film a video, it's just noise. It bugs me. But if you're thinking about moving to the area, we want to hear from you. Our phone number and email are right there on the screen and in the description down below. We look forward to connecting with you and helping you make the move. Thanks for coming by.